I did it. It is done. I've completed 75 hard. This challenge really put me to the test. So if you don't know what 75 hard is, it is a challenge made by Andy Frisella. He is the founder of a few companies. He has some really big podcasts. But essentially, you work out twice a day. One of them has to be outdoors. You read 10 pages of a book. You drink 1 gallon of water. You take a progress photo. You cannot drink alcohol. You cannot have junk food. And you have to stick to a diet that is of your choice. So these are the things you have to do. And if you do not do one of them, so let's say you do everything else but one on one day, you have to start from day 1. And this challenge lasts 75 days straight. No breaks, no cheat days, no rest days, no bullshit, guys. It is hardcore. Now, I just finished it 2 days ago. I feel like a free man. I feel like I've gotten out of this weird prison that was actually really good for me. And before I did 75 hard, I was in a really mucky spot. My mind was a blob. I was doing bad habits to fill almost like a depression type of void. A lot of it had to do with being in lockdown, being in the pandemic, not being able to progress in my business, in my life, just feeling so held back by things. And then I started getting attached to bad habits that I wanted to rid myself of. And I told myself, you know what? Instead of focusing on running away from these bad habits, maybe it would be better if I focused on chasing a really difficult, beneficial goal that would be very good for my mental health. And I was introduced to 75 hard from a friend, and I gave it a shot. 75 and days later and some change, I think it's 77 days later now, I did it fully, perfectly, and it was really difficult at times, but it was extremely rewarding. I would say that it was much more rewarding than it was difficult. And I think that anybody can do 75 hard. If you think I'm too fat, or I am not strong enough, or I am too lazy, or I don't have that type of motivation, it's totally wrong. That's totally wrong, because you can adjust the things you do to your level where you're at. And I'm going to give you 5 tips that I picked up along the way while doing 75 hard to help you on your journey if you choose to do it. And I'm also going to drop a link for the main podcast where Andy Frisella, the founder of 75 Hard, explains the program, and he also gives some motivation on getting into it, okay? So tip number 1 is all about getting started. And what I would suggest is that you take 1 week, you set a day that you know you're going to start. So say I'm starting on Monday, no matter what. Today is Wednesday, okay? Take 1 week. Do the research that you need to figure out your diet. Order a 1 gallon water bottle like this, just like this, off of Amazon. That's going to be very helpful for measuring the amount of water you need. Pick your book or books. You want to have multiple books in the bank because sometimes your book is boring or it sucks and you want to switch it up. You don't have to stick to the same book. You just have to read a book every day. So you want to have a good one that you look forward to reading. So pick your books in advance. Pick your workouts in advance. Know what you're going to be getting into, okay? Take a few days and work your way into this. And especially, guys, if you are cold, if you do not work out right now, if you haven't been to the gym, haven't been for a run, haven't been for a walk in months because you've been in lockdown or you're just lazy from the pandemic still, you need to work your way into this. I don't think that going from absolute sub-zero cold to working out twice a day is going to be good for you. I think that you need to take maybe 3 or 4 days of going for a walk, then going for a run, then hitting weights, then take a day off, go for a walk, and then go. Boom. Warm yourself up just a little bit, just enough. It doesn't have to be 2 months of warm-up. It doesn't have to be a week of warm-up, just a few days, and then get going. But going in sub-zero cold, I don't necessarily recommend that. So first tip is take a few days, pick a start date, stick to that start date, tell people about that start date, and do your due diligence of research, formulate a plan, a concrete plan, and then go. That's my first tip. It's what I did. It worked very well for me. And a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, you say you're setting it on Monday. You're not starting Monday. Start today. That's a load. Okay. I said Monday and then I started on that Monday. You can do the same thing too. Be prepared. Okay. So the second thing that I want to suggest is build a team. Okay. So I don't mean a support system. I actually mean go out and recruit your friends to join the challenge with you. This is what I did as well. When I decided I'm doing it, I think I'm going to do this, guys, like, let's go. I reached out to every close friend that I have. And I said, hey, I'm doing this challenge. Listen to this podcast. If you want to do this too, which I highly recommend you should, join me. And I actually had 3 of my friends join me. We made a Facebook chat and we were able to hype each other up, motivate each other, keep each other updated on different things, send screenshots, send photos of our workouts, everything like that. And that helped a ton. That was amazing. Having us push forward together. When one friend was struggling with something, another friend would come in and be like, you know what, man, you can do it. I'm not struggling with that. And I can see why you are, but you can get through that. It's not a big deal. And that's very, very powerful. Okay. The next thing that the third tip that I want to give you is do not dread anything that you have to do. The moment that you start to feel anger or dread or negative feelings toward the task that you're doing, that task is going to take 10 times longer and be 10 times harder, and it's going to be brutal. And you don't want to create the habit of hating working out or hating reading or hating taking a progress photo, okay? You want to develop habit of loving it, of being in the moment, of pushing yourself forward and really giving it your all. That's only going to come from a place of true power, and power doesn't come from negativity. It comes from positivity. It comes from gratitude and being grateful for the opportunity to even have this challenge available to you. Okay. So that's tip number 3 is love what you're doing. Be in the moment. Do not feel resentment to the challenge. The challenge is there for the process and to develop you. Okay. Tip number 3 is all about tip number 4. We are on tip number 4. Tip number 4 is all about your mornings. And your mornings are really important for 75 Hard because you need to start waking up probably about an hour earlier than you do in order to get everything in that you want. Maybe even 2 hours earlier. I was waking up when I started at 6:30 in the morning. That was when we first started, and maybe that was a little too early for me. I eased it back to 7:30, and that was spot on. I was able to get everything done in the day quite easily. And you should, in the morning, have your progress photo taken. You should try and read first thing in the morning. That was my thing, is I would get up and I would literally grab my book, go out to my porch and read outside with my coffee. That was a good thing. And also try to go for a walk or a run in the morning too. If you can just get that out, those 3 things, progress photo, walk / run, and then reading, boom, every single day. That is a powerful habit. And then all you have to do is finish your water and then hit one more workout later and you're good to go. So that's a great way to manage your time. And that being said, you're probably wondering, what was your transformation, Vic? I know you did 75 Hard. How did you look before? How did you look after? So I'm actually going to show you now that I just talked about progress photos. You have to take a progress photo every day. So this progress photo right here was from day 2 of my 75 Hard challenge. Now, the reason it's from day 2 is because day 1 I had a towel on, is a little bit too much, maybe too provocative for YouTube. So day 2 I have pants on. Okay. So day 2, you can see I have a bit of a belly, a little bit of a belly, and my forearms are much smaller than they are now. And here's day 75 right there. You can see I'm much more defined in my abdominal section. My arms are more defined. I just feel so healthy. I feel so much more lean, and my stamina is through the roof. Like, I've been playing soccer lately and I can run the entire game. And before this challenge, I highly doubt that I'd even be able to run for the first half of the game. So really, really happy with where my stamina is at right now. So tip number 5 is about you. Okay. You need to know where you are and where you're trying to go. And this is really important because when I started 75 hard, like I said, it was because I was running away from some bad habits. Now, where are you right now? Maybe you already have some regimen going, and maybe you are going pretty hard already, and you just want to take you to the next level, or maybe you need some structure. Maybe you just work all the time and you need something to put your ass in gear so you work out. Figure out where you are right now, and then see where you want to be. I wanted to build more muscle. I wanted to lean up my stomach. I wanted to have more stamina, be better at sports. But more than anything, I wanted to have a clear and confident mental state. And I've definitely accomplished that. Having that in mind is going to help you decide on your diet. It's going to help you decide on your workouts. It's going to help you pick your books. Okay. And it's really going to craft your whole strategy for what you're doing. So a lot of my stuff that I was focusing on was mental. I want to develop mental. I want to learn a lot. I want to develop clarity and confidence and just execution, accuracy. So when I was on my walks and my runs, I was always listening to audiobooks. I even got to the point where I would walk with a physical book and stack those habits together and literally walk and read at the same time. And some people asked me, like, how do you walk and read at the same time? And I just told them, I have my peripheral vision and that's good enough for me, right? My goal was all about my mental clarity and accomplishment, pushing my mental to the next level. And my physical was secondary. So you need to know what your goal is in order to get the most out of this challenge. And then design your whole strategy around your goal and your development. And guys, that is my 5 tips for 75 hard. It was such a dope challenge. Shout out to my friends who joined me on the challenge. It was unreal. It wouldn't have been the same without them. And shout out to everyone who had to deal with me not being able to eat things, with me not being able to do stuff, with my restrictions in my life because of the challenge. I know some people got a little annoyed at certain things. Shout out to my fiance for having to hide all her junk food from me so I wouldn't hurt, internally that I couldn't eat this junk food. That was awesome of her. But guys, I'm just really happy that it's done. I feel like a totally free man. I feel unreal, and I'm definitely 100% going to be doing this again next year. And I'll probably even push into the phase 1, which is supposed to happen right after the first, or phase 0, which is that first 75 days. But I'll probably actually keep going past 75 hard phase 0 next time I do it. Highly recommend you checking it out. Again, my name is Victor Laranja. This is my YouTube channel, and subscribe for more. Give the video a like, a comment if you're going to do 75 hard. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.